Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Frozen Frontier, interrupting our conversations because that's how we roll here. So you guys are stuck in this place, and we're just going to tell you up front that it's going to be a 6-day blizzard. Normally, I would make you suffer it out one day at a time, wondering when it's going to stop. But not this time. You've got you're safe, you're warm, you're in a cave, you've got unlimited firewood, basically, and unlimited supplies, basically. And I think now the question of what you're going to do comes up. Because originally, if I'm not mistaken, your plan was to come to this cave and recollect the furs and everything. Mm-hmm. And now they're gone.
But also to search for any sort of other flaws in this place.
Figure out what this place is. I'm sure Yaramir would love to investigate.
Yeah, this is once I wake up, this is the first time I've seen this place, really. Yeah. I'd love
So I think we spend...
But I refuse to let Yaramir explore immediately. Like, I'm going to make everyone spend the next 24 hours or 12 hours or whatever it is. So
3 an hour. It should be like 8 hours.
Yeah, 8 hours.
That's fine by me. What was that game we played, Montaka? Perhaps I could teach you a thing or two about it, Grimes.
Mancala. There's...
First step's knowing the name, Boris.
Well, if he knows the name, then how did he lose?
Oh, maybe he's just really, really bad.
I let him win.
Is this the game that the Neal taught you, Grimes?
I nod. Had we ever heard of this game? Was it before Nash taught me, Neal?
No.
Is it like recognizable as a game that's just like played but called a different name back on the internet?
No, this is a completely Knoll-ish game that none of you have ever heard of before.
I suppose Faris thinks more like a Neal than you, Grimes.
I suppose a good hunter gets in the mind of his quarry.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it.
Sure. So I guess we haven't we haven't investigated the tomb. We haven't searched the tomb yet, right? This is like 8 hours by the fireside.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep. Yeah, for 8 hours.
Talking about game. Yeah, I guess it was a rough day. We're cold. Yeah. I think we just sleep for 8 hours by the fire.
All right, so we're back to full warmth. Neal, do I get my con back immediately?
Yeah, you guys will be at... Unless you guys actually want to venture outside the cave, we can just say you all eventually return to full warmth.
Yeah.
We never explicitly leave this out, but con recovers as warmth if you've lost it.
Yes.
So it recovers first and then warmth points.
Yeah. Right? Yes.
But
it's like negative. It's like negative warmth points, isn't it? So I would have myself on -2 warmth, which
well, it's not really better way to think warmth because it's minus con. Your con value is different than your warmth value.
Right. Yeah, I guess what I meant was for every -1 warmth, you get -1 con and -1 to hit.
Yeah.
Right. And then that +1 to con, +1 to hit restores as would warmth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, but I'm still that 7 damage that I took from Yaramir. That's going to have to recover.
I mean, we're going to be here for nearly a week.
Slowly, yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Once I wake up,
I guess I don't know that we're going to be here for nearly a week, but Neal did tell us that off of So I guess take that out of character. My bad.
So then, the next day, I guess I'll walk around with Yaramir and.
I think we all want to walk around. So I'd like to know what they actually. I'd like to loot the place, but figuring out what they actually took.
I'm gonna follow Yaramir around. Is what I mean.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the first time I've explored the place. Like I'm in a part of the cave I've never seen before.
Yeah. So I'll show you around. I'll say like this looks to be the sarcophagus of the guy this tomb was made for, but
I've seen that. I'm assuming. I don't know. Yeah, if you take me back to the sarcophagus, we can start there.
Yeah, and I'll say like you don't think this seems a bit extravagant to bury?
What does it look like? We identified it was a sarcophagus previously, but now I have some time to observe it and look at it. Like, is there any very interesting symbology on it? Is there?
Yeah. Well, if we come over to the sarcophagus, I'm gonna try and drag you guys over there if you can't find it on your own.
No,
I think we're actually splitting the party. It sounds like.
Sure.
Because that's not where Grimes would check first.
Okay. So we're gonna deal with the sarcophagus.
Do the sarcophagus, and then
There's this. If you zoom in real close, you'll see it. There's like a relief of a person with a sword over them, engraved on the top of the sarcophagus, and then there's like a little lip that goes around it, and the lid fits nice and perfectly on top of the actual base. Have you guys opened this before?
No.
No.
Okay.
So the figure in relief, does it have any identifying markings?
Yeah, it definitely looks like some sort of knight. And not just the sword, but there's also some armor. There's like the relief of a helmet on top of it, and there are martial symbols.
I look to William and I say, the markings here, they remind me more of heraldry and knighthood than they do of arcane or religion. Perhaps you could take a look, see if you recognize where he come from, the history of heraldry.
Yeah, I think I already made that roll, but I'll do it again.
Sure, go ahead.
I'll do a heraldry roll, yeah.
Fresh eyes.
Uh-huh.
New situation.
26.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you have no idea what any of these are.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's like, yeah, it looks like a knight. I sort of recognize the what they're trying to get at, but I don't know, I never read anything about knights from 1,000 years ago.
Is there old folklore stories about the people that lived here before the freeze?
Not anymore. Those stories have been lost to time.
Really, there's no fairy tales or boogeymen. It's surprising, but okay.
Well,
Grimes might know a few Nolish tales if you ask.
On the scale of Atlantis, you know,
Sure,
it's that sort of like there once was a land called Caledonia, and it all got frozen over, and it was this like wonderful place with these, you know, big mountains, and there were forests, and there was a great empire, and then suddenly it vanished one night. But that's the level of detail you have.
Okay,
So
if we're going with the Atlantis analogy, if we found Atlantis and sent an expedition and a submarine down to it, you know what I'd bring with me? All of the Greek literature of Atlantis, right? That's fine. I don't have to know anything about it. I feel like there should maybe be some stories that I might know. Or might not. Maybe I never got to that point. The lid, it fits on this really well. It's like a perfect seal. Is there like a crack around it?
Yeah,
or is it lacquered over to like prevent you from seeing the clack of it?
You can see where the lid fits. There's definitely a crack.
Okay,
You're
so
fairly
bother
certain you could pry it
lacquering
open and everything.
You think I should open it, Yaramir?
Not yet. Do you have something slender and sharp? Perhaps dagger?
Draw my sword. Oh, yeah, sure. I give him my dagger.
Okay. I want to like slide the blade of the dagger like around the edge of the sarcophagus. I want to see if it catches on anything.
I take a step back.
Yeah, I want to see if it catches on anything like a wire or a needle or something in between, like hinges. I want to see if it reacts any way to having something pressed into there.
No.
Okay.
It seems like you're just drawing your dagger across normal stone.
Okay. I hand the dagger back. Is there... I guess I can use detect magic on it real quick before I tell William to open it. Let's do that.
You guys see Yaromir casting another spell. Where the hell? Oh, there we go. That's the area I'm looking for.
Oh, excuse me.
All right. I spend some time observing it and focusing it, and I look to William and I say, "Hey, do not believe we will have any trouble opening sarcophagus. It seems as normal as possible to me."
I'm not going to get cursed by the gods.
It does not appear to be so, no.
I look up. I say to Yaramir, you might as well take a step back.
Caution is always appreciated. I'll take some steps back.
I sign Martha's circles on my chest and then like lift up the lid and slide it across and lay it down on the back end, sort of. You know, I'm not trying to smash the lid.
It's heavy, but you have 18 strength, so you have no problem like gently setting it down. Inside is a body of a gnoll.
Does it match the relief?
Not in the slightest. It looks to be a very old body. Like the flesh is kind of pulled back on it, as you would expect from a properly desiccated body. It's kind of all shriveled. There's little tufts of hair sticking out all over it, and there's a stone axe with a wooden shaft wrapped, tied to it with leather that his hands are holding, kind of in a similar pose to the knight. Actually, I guess it would be down near his belly. So the axe is almost as if they had laid him in this box to look like the knight that was here.
I still have detect magic going. Now that the stone lid is gone, perhaps anything magical might have been blocked by that. Is there anything new I see?
Nope, nothing new.
Okay.
I wonder if the knight's body is under this somehow. Maybe
No,
is
it's very
it laid
clearly.
on straw or anything? No,
it's just sat in the base of the sarcophagus.
I want to try.
The knoll does have some sort of rudimentary. Like, there's just fragments of what looks like was probably once a crown made out of branches, but it's all, like, fallen apart.
The sarcophagus itself, I will try and move it.
It's heavy, but you can do it. Across the floor.
There's no secret passage underneath?
No, just stone.
I'll push it back.
Okay.
Shit. So they've taken this guy's body, whoever he is. I get the other 4 sarcophagus in the room, sarcophagi. Are they empty? Or they just got scalped? They're
totally empty. Yep. They were used to hold things. So, like, there's some foodstuffs in one of them and some sticks in another that look like they'd be really good for holding axe heads, and another of them has some extra axe heads. One of them has a little bit of rope in it, like so really poorly made rope, like made out of knoll fur.
I'll try moving them as well, just to be certain.
No, there's nothing hidden.
Well, okay, so this seems to me the point of this place, but I don't know what you think. But back home, we wouldn't go to the effort of building this inside a mountain just for one body, especially not for a night.
There are other cultures. Some places they build large monuments for dead kings, where only a single person is entombed.
Sure, but this doesn't look like a king's tomb.
Ferris kind of furrows his brow at this talk of, like, entombing the dead and, like, these great monuments, and just says, "What in the hells is wrong with you people?"
Yarmi, you should respect our culture. Faris.
I respect it enough. I find your life.
You respect it enough. Faris, you should respect our culture. You don't see me trying to belittle you for the things you believe.
Tell me though, Faris, how do elvenkind respect the dead?
The dead are gone from this world. What point is there in entombing a body? It's nothing but an empty vessel, where life once was but exists no longer.
There is power in memories, Faris.
In memories, and what do you need a body for that?
For the future generations to remember what came before, to give the empire credence, to give the government credence.
You still did not answer question. How do you respect dead? Obviously, body means little to you, but surely your culture appreciates the memories of your ancestors.
Of course, in memories.
And how do you go and show this appreciation?
So I don't... Neal, is there anything, like, are you fine with me just kind of going through this on my own, or is it the kind of thing where you want me to, like... Do you already have something planned out, essentially?
So the way I view it is, you grew up in this weird situation, kind of in human lands, with the only other elf around being your mother. So whatever ways that you know may or may not be, right? So you can spout whatever lore you want, and if I happen to disagree with it, then it'll just be like the weird subset
I like
that you and your mom.
plausible deniability that you've set yourself up with.
yeah, knock yourself silly.
Okay. I think Ferris goes on about this idea of, like, monuments and, like, shrines being pointless and just kind of unnecessary, and that memory, like, you need the memory of a person, right? Like, a person's life only matters in spirit, and this idea of building a monument to a body, to a corpse, is just insane. It's absurd. Because a corpse is nothing but an empty vessel. You don't need shrines, you don't need tombs, you just need to carry them on in memory.
You would make a good politician, Ferris. You managed to say a lot without actually answering questions. I think you really the law.
Regardless, though, there's time for arguments later. Yarame, do you want to see the rest of this place?
Yes, please.
So I'll take Yaramir around, and Neal, I'm scouring. I'm convinced that there's more to this than there is, whether William's being stupid or not. I'm moving everything that I can. I'm looking for secret switches. I'm looking for trapdoors. I'm looking for hidden walls. I mean, Faris is an elf, so D&D rules suggest that hidden doors, you should have a pretty good chance.
I can look. I have no problem like looking around this dungeon trying to find like.
You guys have days to spend searching this place.
I've got nothing else to do in this place besides.
So I think
beat Grimes at.
Yeah, I want to talk about what Grimes and Ferris are doing while you are inspecting that.
Ferris was waiting in the room, like from a distance back, watching this happen in case anything bad happened.
Yeah, I don't think I was there. I was more concerned with the Knowles loot, like the actual practical valuables that I was expecting to reclaim, but it sounds like they took them. So I was in the sleeping quarters and maybe the social room, taking stock of the inventory and seeing what they took, what was left. So all the furs are gone.
There's pretty much nothing of value remaining.
The skis have been taken as well?
Skis have been taken, furs are gone, and that was pretty much the only valuables here, aside from that big metal sheet you already got.
Okay, so I guess I would have inspected the sleeping quarters to see if there, along those lines, if there are hidden panels, secret doors, blah blah blah.
Well, let's make some roll. Well, you guys have 6 days, so I'm not going to bother asking you to make rolls because you have 6 days and an elf here. So there are no secret doors. There are no secret passages. You scour everything. You lift up everything. You have. It's too much time on your hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
You inspect every crevice.
I know that most the stuff on this like place has been scratched up by the gnolls, right? I'm gonna look and see if I can see the remains of something similar to that coin that I took a bunch of notes on. Something that reminds me of because that coin seemed more elven in origin, right? It was like brambles and nature, and it wasn't associated with the kind of power that you usually see on like human minted coins.
If that's your interpretation. That's fine.
I don't know exactly what was on that coin, but that was the impression I got from your description.
Sure.
And I'm gonna look for like symbols that haven't been completely destroyed that might relate to those coins in some way.
That's an interesting question I hadn't considered. So on the archways leading into the tomb, there are markings. Markings that look very funereal, like you would find on a graveyard or a crypt or something like that. There are, symbols of dead, and there's also the symbols of gods carved in there. You see a lot of moons, which are the symbol of Falumbra, in various states. You've got a lot of full moons and a lot of new moons all over the place, and then some, half states here and there. There are symbols of Martha and Verasi, the gods of life and death, as well. More Verasi than Martha, which is to be expected. This is a place for the dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What's in the social room? Tables, it looks like a throne of bones, right?
Yes, and then just kind
All
of
of that has been
remains. Yeah. It's like, someone was eating a caribou leg and just like chucked the caribou leg bone and left it somewhere, and it's just on the ground.
So
I think,
excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've got two things that I want to point out. One would be smoke from this fire is now coming out of this door, right? So for the last 6 days,
you've moved the fire to the Ocasa's room?
No, I just mean though, like if somebody was watching this cave, like the gnolls, if they were still alive, they would probably know that someone was here now.
If they could see through the blizzard,
At least when the blizzard ends, yeah. Because obviously, there's a pretty good chance that Bocasa's still alive.
Really? I don't think there's any possibility. Maybe we have this discussion.
He was dragged out on a stretcher.
Yeah,
I did attempt to shoot him and finish the job, but I didn't have much of a shot.
Unless he was playing possum, I don't think there's any chance he...
I don't think we should rest our laurels, though.
They carried his body out on a stretcher. I don't think they would have bothered if he was dead.
Well, Yaramir is still here, so... And no offense, Yaramir, but that Bokassa guy seems like he had a bit more constitution than you.
Well, the question is, does he have healers as good as we have?
Yeah, Yaramir nearly died even with a trained medic.
They probably didn't travel as far as we did.
I wouldn't be surprised if the gnolls have medics.
I would be stunned.
Maybe
Nash,
maybe not
Nash
trained
did
healers
not
in the
even
same way as us.
Nash did not even know the words for witch doctor or shaman or anything I could think of.
All right. Well, maybe you're right.
Such a
Hopefully you're
concept.
right and he's dead. But I think we should,
Even if he...
there's a chance that we get attacked by a bunch of gnolls while we're in here, so just be ready.
Is there a chimney,
Possible.
Neal, or does the smoke just kind of billow out the front door?
It billows out the front door. There's this
But
the staircase you see here gives like a slight elevation change, so you have wind blowing in, up, and then out this direction always. So
Secondly, go on. Sorry.
So
this
back
region
room-
of the tomb has like smoke now. Like in
yeah,
the top
this
foot
region
or
right
so of the.
here is smoky, especially up in here, and then a gust of wind will blow through and clear out all the smoke, and then it'll start to fill up and whatnot.
Yaramir, do you remember before we first came in here when you cast that ritual?
Yes, I do.
Well, the conclusions from that, you seemed worried that there was some dark, evil presence here or something. But
I am.
does what you see here seem like it would have fulfilled that prophecy, or?
Well, it depends on what these are over here. This pile of bones I have yet to research into.
Okay, well,
Perhaps the screaming of thousands of souls I felt through the magic was the screaming of these dead bones discarded here. I do not know.
maybe there's another entrance into the mountain further down, like if we clamber down this side of the mountain, maybe there's an entrance we haven't seen. Maybe there's another floor to this thing, but you have to enter it from
It is
outside.
possible, yes. This might not be only a tomb in mountain.
When the blizzard clears, I'd suggest we spend a couple of days just making sure. Another thing I was
Not a bad
thinking
idea. I
is
support this.
maybe there's
If there were another tomb, wouldn't it be connected by the same set of stairs?
I struggle. I mean, maybe.
The
Sure.
Knolls didn't build this place.
Yeah, the Knolls
So it's
didn't build
likely
this.
by walking the path, we'll find another road leading to another tomb.
Yeah, every time we've come in here, though, we haven't really been looking, so it could be covered by snow or by trees.
There are
or-
mountains. Many mountains. This is one in a single mountain in a range. Perhaps are other tombs in other mountains.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not suggesting that we scour every mountain, but this one mountain seems to hold some significance for these people, so I think the least we can do is check
No,
other
different
ways in here. Another thing I was thinking is that maybe if they built a tomb here, isn't it quite likely that there may be a civilization here? Like at one point there was a town here nearby.
Whole continent was full of people, and then frozen over. Is the only story I know of Caledonia.
If there's a tomb here, there was almost certainly a civilization nearby. You
Yeah.
don't build tombs hundreds of miles away from where you live.
Or do
The
you?
Knolls called them the Horsemen. I assume they were men much like us, mounted knights that ruled this land.
I wish
Or
we could
perhaps
find
literal
Until
centaurs.
They're
if we could only find some literature from the time, I feel like our eyes would be opened a lot more.
It could happen. Many things have likely been preserved in the snow.
Did anyone inspect the bone pile while we've been here?
I haven't had a chance, no.
I think
We
you
looked
have
through it
days.
last
I
time
think
we
we're
were
sort
here.
of breezing over 6 days.
We dug
here,
through
right?
the bone
Yeah.
pile last time we were here. We
It's
didn't like
animals, it's
thoroughly
Not
excavate
really.
it.
We kicked through it for less than.
Yeah,
an hour,
like we
I
didn't
think.
thoroughly excavate it, but we did
You
dig
can
through it.
thoroughly excavate it this time if you desire.
Okay. I mean,
and
Grimes,
it's
I think,
just-
is too superstitious to do such a thing, but
If Ferris
I
is
was asking
prompted, he'll
him.
start digging through the bones. and,
It's
like,
just a pile of discarded bones.
yeah.
animal bones, though, right?
No,
manner. I imagine
there are
that-
knoll bones
Humanoid.
there too.
Yeah.
And probably, I'll bet that's where they got rid of the knight that was in the tomb initially.
Possible.
So
They could have
Grimes
also
will tell
thrown
you
him into
that
the snow.
that knoll was the tomb of a great knoll king. I was looking through my Discord logs. I don't know if I can remember the name, but Nash had mentioned some great knoll king that was entombed there.
Okay.
So it looks like that this was a tomb for some human knight that the Knolls eventually repurposed, and
Yeah.
the knight's body is probably in the bone pile somewhere.
But whatever armor and weapons he might have had are long gone.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I assume
so-
Yaramir wants to look through the bones.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Grimes will be emptying the water pots periodically
Sure.
throughout
Sure.
the time we're here. Keep the
Um,
place from flooding. but I think that's about all we get through in 6 days here.
Yeah,
Is there any other
there's
details we'd-
surprisingly little to do in this cave. I think you guys come across this expecting there to be great treasures or great mysteries to uncover, and you find like a cold, empty, almost forgotten tomb.
Did you have any thoughts you want to do, Greg? I feel like you've got something you want to say.
No, my head just really hurts.
Okay.
I just spend time in the. I mean, obviously, Neal said it, right? There's nothing in here, so there's no point in me doing 30 minutes of Yarmir investigating everything with
And
everything.
it sounds like whatever engravings there were, the Knolls have like vandalized over the decades.
Like Yarmir, like you can do a montage of Yarmir like making an omen reading, making an arcanology check, studying the symbols on the walls, checking each bone for some. Like, I mean, there's 6 days of Yarmir doing stuff, but there's no reason to spend the time doing it if we're not going to learn it.
Well, I think a key question would be, does that bone pile satisfy the vision you had?
I don't know. We have to find out.
Can we do like an arcanology roll, maybe, Neal, to see if...
Or
is
their
that-
omen
is
read,
it-
or
is it
could,
two?
or prepare? Does Yarmir prepare a similar ritual in that room to see if these were the spirits you were
We do
hearing
have a whole
crying
week.
out for help?
Yeah, you got a plus 12 on your omen reading check.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you do omen readings throughout the various rooms in this place, and when you come into that workshop room where all those bones are, you get this like sense of foreboding as you cast your stones. Like even before they land, you can feel the like something pulling you to the other side. And as they land, you get the symbols for death and destruction and wheel. Whoa.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. There's lots of death from this room. It seems that perhaps this is what I tapped into when I meditated upon the place initially.
I think William is
that's
disappointed.
disappointing.
Yeah. All right. Well, when the blizzard passes, I suggest that we explore the sides of the mountain for other entrances. But other than that,
Agreed.
we need a new plan.
So, what do you guys want to do from here?
Do we still want to find Musa? He might know more secrets to this place as well. I say we check the sides of the mountain, and then, if the weather holds up, head
Well,
back to Musa.
there are lots of gnolls around here somewhere that potentially have their leader still, and
Yep.
there is another steel weapon at very least that could be ours. I say before we talk to Musa, perhaps we clean out and finish job with Bokasa's pack. Also,
Yeah.
we would bring back more steel for the fort, would make this less of a wasted expedition.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, we've never been south of here, so we might as well spend a day seeing if we can find.
I mean, we have
plenty of
We have essentially a fort here with firewood and food for as long as we need. I say we
Yeah.
use this as staging point to
Yeah, I
search
agree.
out Bokasa's pack and slay them.
Okay. So, but can we do you agree that we should check the sides of the mountain for a day or two?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay. Let's do that then. So I think we spend the next day checking one side, the day after that checking the other, and then after that we'll start looking for Bokasa.
Sure. So you're gonna just spend 2 days like cruising up and down on the edges of this mountainside. So first off, mark off 24 days worth of food for the 6 days the four of you spent here.
Okay, but shall I keep a track of how many days rations the Knolls had? Was that 150?
120?
120.
Yeah, plus
Plus
whatever
the
you had.
17 we had.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'm doing that
So-
separate, so
and-
20 Knoll ration days.
And we gain at least 6 points of HP from the.
Well,
Yes.
Yaramir's a healer, so shouldn't we get
Yeah.
to?
Yeah, sure.
You should gain 2 per day, so you should all gain 12 HP. I think you should all be at full now.
Yeah, yeah.
No, because I lose max HP, but I don't regain HP once lost at the same rate.
I think if you lose HP
I would
for
be-
losing con and then regain the con, you regain the HP.
So like
right?
if you have
so-
2 out of
so you
2
don't-
HP, and then you all of a sudden jump to like 16 con, then
But you're-
you'll go up percentagely. That makes sense. So if you're at half
So you were-
HP, then you gain con, you should be at half of your new max. Does that compute?
That's fine. We
yeah,
can do
but
that.
if you're so if
cool.
you're draining, if you're losing con, you're losing max HP, but you're not taking damage.
That's fine.
Right. So if you lose con from losing
Sure.
warmth, then you regain the con. You'll
Yeah,
still be
yeah.
at whatever HP you were before the whole
That
ordeal.
makes sense.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I agree.
And
Okay.
then if you take damage in the interim, then you can
I'm just
do
trying
the
to make it
percentage
harder,
thing.
you know.
Trying to make life harder.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. I agree with you. That I see what you're saying.
The day after the storm, after the blizzard, after that 6-day blizzard, is a nice light day. There's very little wind.
I tell Forrest to keep a lookout for fire, right? Because that might help us pinpoint the Knolls. Yeah. We've got a high vantage point. We might be able to see smoke.
Yeah, Ferris will go to like both entrances, kind of alternate between them over the day, and just kind of keep watch for a while.
This is the light day, right? We're moving out today, or
yeah, we're still at the top of the mountain. I mean, we still got a good look. But
okay. Yeah. So you want me to like watch while we're heading out? I thought you wanted to like wait another day.
No.
Okay, yeah. So while we're going out, I'll keep an eye out and just see if I can spot any fires off in the distance.
So on this day, the 16th of August, you guys are blazing through time here. Are you searching the north or the south side of your cave?
I think south, right? This is new territory.
We are back to full HP, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Should be at full HP, full warmth.
So yeah, I think the south side.
Sure. So you guys can head out after. It takes you half a day to go about 5 miles, which gives you kind of the vision of all the rest of this over here. So you can head out 5 miles from your camp, and then you're about like halfway through your day. Wait a minute, hold on. It's 5 plus something. I'm sorry.
Well, I think
it's 5 and 6. It's 11
sees
miles total. Yeah.
I think Grimes sees this next peak. And proposes that he summit it or at least like climb a good ways up it to get a view of what's in this valley.
I mean,
so
you're a legendary climber.
So I see that next. So I think as we're leaving the day, I'm like, so I mean, it looks like Ferris can like spot this valley around the corner, and Grimes sees this peak that's like looks like 3 miles maybe.
Well,
like we can reach the
6 miles to the base, and then you can climb up it.
Yeah, so we can reach the base today. I would propose that we head there, make our camp at the base of that mountain, and I can attempt to summit it like the next day and get a view into the valley.
I'd rather make sure we check the sides of this mountain for alternative entrances first. But yeah, I'm theoretically I'm on board.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is kind of out of character. I mean, I think Grimes likes to let William deliver the orders.
Yeah.
So I think that sounds like I think we're gonna you'll say that we're gonna check the mountains for tombs. Yeah.
So I think in
and
game
I'll point out the peak.
You like whisper it to me, or you talk it to me, and then I'll be like, okay, and then I'll deliver it.
So you're like we're checking these mountains for tombs, and as we're starting to head down that way, I'll point out the peak and say, I think from there I could see into that next valley over.
So can we spend this first day checking our mountain for alternative entrances, and then after that, tomorrow we'll walk down to the mountain you're talking about?
I'm with William on that one.
Okay, so are you going to make camp in the cave? If so, you can go about 5 miles out and then 5 miles back, or you can take your whole gear with you and go like 10 or 11 miles down.
Yeah, in fact, I'd suggest we go
we can get that far.
You can get 10 miles in a half day, or 5 miles in a half day.
I think what Nick was saying is he wants to like look around this mountain that we're on right now and see if there's any other tombs connected to it.
Yeah. So I think we're hugging the mountains, so I think we'll wind up like in the shadow of this peak here, like behind where that peak is.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so we'll search that area, and then let us know if we find anything as we search that area during the half day. And so,
yeah.
You scour the area of that mountain. You do find a separate cave in here that looks like more of a natural cave, but definitely has markings of intelligent life having been there. It's not very big. It's maybe like 15 feet deep, and it has like a small entrance that's like 4 feet high, 2 feet wide. So it's kind of a tight squeeze to get in. And then there's like this nice bigger area back there, but it's empty. There's nothing going on.
So by signs of life, you mean there's like a shit pile in the corner, or there's like the remains of a fire?
There's like areas that look like people have worked that 4x2 entrance to make it a little bit bigger. Like it used to be smaller, and someone has chipped away at that.
So I think, sorry if you just answered this, does it look like recently there was life here, or maybe like, years ago?
A while ago. I mean, define recently, it's...
Days versus like months plus.
A months plus.
Okay. Yeah. Is it big enough for us to stay the night here?
Yeah. If you want
to. We can use this as a staging ground then, so we can go a little bit further. We don't have to go all the way back to our cave. I think we can go to here, find this.
Can you point out where the cave is, Neal?
How many rations do we
Like
take
how
with
many
us?
miles south of the?
24 days.
The cave is about. Oh, it's not clicking because I'm on the wrong thing.
Right.
The cave is about here. You know, it's like. In
Well,
this
The
area.
king was okay.
Yeah. It's actually fairly
Sure.
close
I mean,
to
it's
your
a
main
few extra
cave.
miles. If we're planning to continue going south the next day, we might as well like camp there.
So
Yeah.
that's like a few hours into the day, though.
Right, you
we,
find
we
it
haven't
fairly
even gotten
quickly.
through
Yeah,
half.
we're gonna keep going.
So we continue searching the mountain range. So yeah, south
Yeah.
from there.
You continue searching the mountain range. You find another small shelter in the mountain range. This one's less of a cave and more of just like a large boulder is resting against these other rocks that creates another little shelter. Kind of over here. And you continue to find small shelters across the mountain range. It looks like the base of the mountains are just littered with little shelters here and there. None of them are too great. They're all cramped and uncomfortable quarters, but they would make a nice
would they
spot
serve
to
as a
pitch.
cave in a blizzard? Like, would they nullify weather effects essentially?
Not entirely. Most of these, like with the big boulder that's rolled down, like there's still gaps in it up above where wind will come through and cold
So it
will
would
creep
be
in.
like a tent.
It'd give
or-
you a tent, yeah.
Okay.
Are there any storms brewing?
Yeah, it's important to know though, because we don't want to get too far where we can't.
I will make a survival roll.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Nailed it.
nailed it. Yeah.
Does it
It
get
actually
2 days or
looks
something
like,
like that?
yeah, it actually looks like the weather is going to keep getting more and more gentle. Like the storm has blown out, and this light
Nice.
day is the aftermath of the storm, but it's just going to keep getting calmer and calmer.
Awesome.
Where would you like
Looks
to
like
camp, Captain?
Weather is getting better
So-
for a mercy.
Is this
So we're
the
taking
mountain?
I think we're taking our lunch break sort of at the foot, like at the foot of this mountain there.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the mountain you want to climb?
I think I mean, so yeah, where would you like to camp? I think from this mountain I could get a good vantage out south
Yeah.
into the
I'm
valley.
happy to camp out here in this little cave if
Sure.
weather doesn't seem too bad.
So how tall does this peak look?
It's definitely
Like-
not 4 miles tall.
Yeah.
It's probably 500 or 5,000, 6,000 feet. It's a mountain.
Okay.
It's big,
Yeah.
but it's not overwhelmingly big.
He can climb it though.
Yeah. So I think I could summit it in the after. Maybe not get to. Maybe I won't get to the peak, but like I could spend the afternoon climbing and get a vantage out into the valley. Maybe while Ferris hunts or looks for tracks or signs of Knoll in the nearby
Yeah.
forest.
The Knolls
Yeah.
went out the other entrance, right?
Yes,
Did
they
they?
came out the south side, which is the entrance that you exited from as well.
Okay, so we went in the same direction as them. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any prints from like their flight, but yeah, I guess I'll look around see if there's any Knoll activity in the area. See if they continue to flee south.
So
you said
the Knolls went this way, right?
They left south
They,
out of the
they
cave.
left through the same entrance or the same exit,
Yeah.
but we don't
Yeah.
know what direction they went afterwards.
So you want to
our-
climb the mountain then?
I will. I think Ferris is going to track, and
Sure.
this second pink dot is the shelter.
It's another shelter.
Yeah.
So I think Yarmir and Captain William will be making like camp or whatever in the shelter, or like hanging
Yeah,
out there.
I
the
think, yeah.
afternoon.
While you climb up and see if you can find anything interesting for us to pursue.
Cool.
Okay. Why don't you give me a climbing check?
Sure. I don't roll a 1.
Good.
Plus 24. How?
I leveled up.
Damn. How do you get 24 though?
We've
It's
got the
average of-
modified
there's-
climbing.
It's average of strength and dex, and then you get points every level to
Oh, okay.
bump it up.
Right.
Okay, so
You
You'd have to roll a 1
base
to fail,
16.
wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's modifiers to that roll.
There's a lot of modifiers, and then success is usually a 21, but then, depending on what you're
But you-
doing, it
More often than not, the modifiers exceed the penalties unless you're like trying to climb in a blizzard or something, or in wind,
you're not encumbered or anything like
or
that.
like I'm unencumbered.
You're not
I've
at,
even-
you're at full HP.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a slippery climb. So there's a modifier of -4 for that. It is natural rock, rough, so that's +2, so you're at a total of -2.
Are you gonna drop another 9?
No, it's gonna be fine.
No,
So
and
you can
yeah.
scale the mountain. By the time you get to the top and look down, you realize it's actually probably only about 4,000 feet. It's probably looked more intimidating because it was icy, and it's been a while since you've climbed something like this. So it only takes you maybe 3 hours to scale this with your excellent proficiencies and everything.
Yeah, that was kind of the plan. And
Yeah.
I'd like to look out into the valley and see if I can see any more tombs on like maybe the opposite. Like if I can see the mountains across that valley and see if there's any tombs over there or
It's a
anything
shame
along
I
this
can't
space here.
reveal the map just to Ryan. But that can't be done. So I'm just going to reveal the map to all of you guys from what he can see from
eventually.
that peak. Yeah. He'll eventually tell you what's going on. And it comes out something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, so I guess that does look like one of the taller. So I can like get up to like here or whatever, and like see out over on the other side, on either side.
Yeah.
Is there anything that can be seen that looks interesting? Like, I don't suppose you see a giant wall.
Yeah, doesn't look like it. I imagine the wall is further south.
Probably the mountain range itself.
Is it just snow and forests now? That's all you
Yeah.
can see.
That's what
right?
you see, yeah.
So I was mostly looking for any like other tombs or carvings,
No.
dwellings.
You don't see any
On the
carvings, no dwellings. You see no signs of civilization. Just that tomb and that person you found are the only signs of humanity you've seen. But you know this continent used to be a thriving kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
There's gotta be people living nearby.
There's got to be something somewhere.
Is there any rivers on the map that we can't see, right? Because they're not drawn on. But you know,
There's
towns
one
usually built by
river that, from the sound of it, kind of ran like this.
Yeah, but I mean, like around here, right? Like if we think
We
that
did-
there's maybe a town near this tomb, if there was like a river like this, then that would help us try and look for it.
If there's a river, it's covered in snow.
Okay.
And I don't think Grimes is bright enough to like be thinking along these lines. So
Grimes, give
yeah.
me a perception check as long as you're up there. 28's pretty
28.
good. Okay. What's it?
I spot any
You-
smoke.
You do spot smoke. You spot smoke rising from way out over here. Way far away. Yeah.
Fuck.
But if it's
That's
gotta be a
mega
lot of
far.
smoke if it's 30 miles. Like that's not just a
Well, it's a
campfire,
calm, clear day,
that's
and
I'm
it's, it's white everything, and then there's like a black plume of smoke. And you've got time on the top of this mountain to spot it.
yeah.
So it's pretty far away, but you do see this smoke rising in the distance, just barely.
Yeah. Is it black? Is it clean? Like does it look?
It's dark smoke.
I guess there's no way to tell if it's wildfire versus like the fires of civilization or like a town or.
Do you think
campfires.
there's the possibility of a wildfire out here?
No.
Yeah.
Seems unlikely.
It's not Southern California.
All right. So anyway, is that afternoon, that evening, I
Yeah.
climbed back down the
Actually,
mountainside.
I think
and
this is
rejoined the party.
probably a really good point to call it a day. You guys can
Yeah.
rest in this
Should we
little
resolve-
tiny camp right here for the night, just to give you a spot to be.
Can I
Should
just
we
clarify
resolve
one point?
Ferris to?
Can I just clarify something?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Mark this.
You know, the ways into the tomb. There's like a pass up the side of the mountain on either side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we specifically did. I wanted to like sort of retrace both paths and make sure that we didn't like miss a hidden entrance into the mountain. If we've done that,
Give
and we're
me a
confident.
perception check for your exploration on the way down.
Well, I'd say Faris should do it since he was.
Sure, yeah,
Sure.
he did specifically ask to do it, and I wanted to do it while we were
Give
leaving.
me
Yeah,
your
no.
perception
Both-
check
both
first.
sides.
That
sorry.
is a pass.
Yeah, there's definitely no other hidden entrances unless they were like buried by a landslide, sort of thing.
Okay.
Sure. All right.
I mean,
all right.
I think the entrance we came in was the hidden entrance.
Right.
It just seems like, I mean, how much manpower would it take to build that thing? It just seems like there should be more to it, but
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I think
not.
it's one of many.
Yeah, maybe these guys were just like crazy good at building tombs inside mountains. Like maybe they had some tools for it or something we don't have. Pneumatic drills,
Yeah.
maybe. Maybe
this is
they
actually
tamed
Final
relays.
Fantasy VI. There's all sorts of like steam engines and advanced
Maybe
technology and
I
mechas that
still
you can
love-
cruise around in.
Because I haven't played that many Final Fantasy games, right? And all the ones that I played before, like,
You wouldn't fucking
More
know it
recently.
about you talk about it. Sorry.
So
I didn't mean that to sound as harsh as it sounded. Right?
I get it. You're
Okay.
a Final Fantasy VII fanboy. You don't understand that the clearly superior game is Crystal
I don't.
Chronicles.
You're right.
I get it.
So before we wrap up, can we have Ferris do a tracking check or something to see if he finds any signs of Noel in
Oh, yeah.
that afternoon? While
I mean, if there's
Grimes is
nothing in the air, I'll roll for it anyways.
Give me your tracking check.
D20 plus 14. That is a fail. I don't think there's anything in this area anyways. If the smoke was over there, it's probably somewhere else.
Yeah.
that they're camped.
So I probably around nightfall, Grimes gets back to camp.
Okay.
And
Right.
around the campfire tries to describe the tundra that he sees to the east and like the spotty forest to the west and the smoke on the seashore.
So let's wrap up and give experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today's going to be a low experience session. The real big thing you did was survive your first real blizzard out in the wilds, and I mean, like the survival of the journey to the Knoll tomb is kind of a big deal here. You guys almost all died. You almost all froze to death, and the importance of having way stations and forts along the way is becoming apparent.
By the way, Neal,
Yes.
one question. You know how we had like those boils showing up in our skin when we got burning touched?
Oh,
Those
yes.
healed over, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot you found a person.
Yes.
A frozen human. That is worth 1,000 XP. I'm going to give you 500 for the survival of the elements, divided between 4 players. Everyone takes home 375 XP.
Plus
Oh, I
10%.
forgot about role playing. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Role playing was pretty solid today. Not exceptional, but better than nothing. So let's add another 500 to that. Everyone take home an even 500.
All right.
500. I mean, we didn't really have that many opportunities, so
Yeah,
it's not
well,
surprising.
that's how it goes sometimes. I think today was an interesting mechanics-heavy day. Last week was roleplay heavy, and the week before that was combat heavy.
I mean, combat can still have roleplay. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, but
it's all
it's
just
just-
making choice. Like, if your only companion left in the world is down by a displacer beast, and you're sitting on 9 HP, and you have to choose between healing him or letting him die the next round, that's role playing right there. That really tells you who the character is.
Yes, yes, it does.
That was so great. I have to say that was one of my favorite moments.
That was one of the hardest decisions I have ever made in D&D.
There's no better feeling as a DM, like when you design this huge encounter and it comes down to it being that close, like you've done it perfectly right. That's what I thought it was great. Well played. Well played.
All right. Good job, everybody. We will be back next week, unless something comes up, with more Frozen Frontier, and I have a feeling you guys are going to continue exploring, right? There's no reason to head back to base yet. That would be...
No.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
We've got a perfect staging ground here.
We got plenty of like food, and even if there was another blizzard, we could wait it out inside the temple, the tomb.
Ferris
whatever
could
it
just
is.
cook up some bone broth, and we'll be.
Yeah.
And we can always go back
even
to
if we
Nash's
went through
cave
all of the
for seals.
supplies in the Knoll tomb, we still have all those bodies that we moved outside that I could cut up and
No, but we've
stir
got
fry.
we can go back to Nash's cave in a day, sleep there and kill seals, and smoke all the meat and bring it back. Like, we can definitely.
Or we could
supply
skip
ourselves.
that and just eat the knolls.
Well,
All right. Well, let's wrap this up before it gets too cannibalistic. We'll see you guys next week for more Frozen Frontier. Goodbye, everybody.
Reddit thread.
Reddit
I'll
thread.
throw it up right now. It'll be up in like 2 or 3 minutes.
All right.
Bye.
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 Bye.